It started off, I went to the bully weekend, and I already had been studying here and there, trying to have a better understanding of the law. I got the DIY reparations book. But once I went to the bully weekend, I was just super inspired. Like, you know what? There's more people out here that are talking about this. I really need to try it. And I keep people keep saying about getting a car. I was like, you know what? I want to try it. I feel like I've been studying enough. So I got my notes out. I created a little script for myself about, like, if they say, that they're going to deny me credit pursuant to 15 USC 1681, that's adverse action. You can't deny me an extension of my own credit. Wrote out a whole script and everything. It did not go the way that I thought it was going to go. It did not go by my script. I went in there just a little too anxious, but went to the dealership at first. I wanted a Cadillac, a CTS. So I asked them if they had it. They said they just got rid of the last one and that they would they'll probably have another one by next week. But I was already like, no, I was already determined. I came today to get a car. So I was like, all right, cool. Oh, what's up with this 740i right here? It's BMW, real nice too. I was like, yeah, I'm going to finance that. Asked them if they were in truth in lending. Of course, they said yes. I know it's like a stipulation to ask, but I just feel if you're a dealership and you offer financing, you automatically are under truth in lending. But it's still something, like you said, you should just ask it so it's said. So it's never and nobody's never assuming anything. You always know for a fact they told you what they told you. So then we walk into the showroom, me and my wife, and I see the Jeep. It's right there. It's dirty right now, but it's in the showroom. It's fully loaded. I was like, nah, I'm going to finance that. So right away, everybody's already like, what the hell? Looking at me crazy. So they're like, oh, well, how's your credit? My credit's good. And at the time, it was a 750. It was a 750 credit score. So I was like, I can't put nothing down. So I said, is there a finance charge? They said, oh, yes, there is. I was like, as long as there's a finance charge, I'm good. I'm going to walk away with this without putting anything down. And they just kept the whole time like, what the hell? Okay, the walk away. So I already had eyes on me. So it actually took me 2 days to pull it off. So the first day I went there, that's what happened. And then I started getting into it with the finance manager. You don't have to be as aggressive as I am, but at the same time, when you're applying the laws, you do need to stand 10 toes on what you believe. Once you start flip-flopping and you feel unsure because these people don't know, you got to remember at the same time, they're just doing their job. They're just doing their job at the end of the day, and they weren't taught this shit just like we weren't taught this shit. We're finding it out now. So the best way to go about it is to kind of educate them or ask them questions that lead to an answer that you already know what the answer is. Yeah. So that's what I would do. But I started going at it with the finance manager. I asked him about the down payment. He said it's required and all these other things. And I was like, oh, so you openly commit fraud every single day that you work here. And then, that didn't go my way. So I told them to run my credit only once. Of course, they don't listen. I started getting a bunch of inquiries on my phone. So I was trying to think out the box because I told them to put on my application that I know that I'm the consumer and the original creditor, which that may have been a mistake because my application was floating, no denials, no approvals. So I was okay. I'm getting all these inquiries. I was like, man, I wanted to leave because, like I said, it's discouraging when you're the only person in the room that knows these laws. Everybody looks at you like you're crazy. Like, everybody responded to your video like you were crazy. And it's like, nah, man, just read, just study that law that you mentioned. But so anyway, I started calling the banks that were giving me inquiries to see what's up. Like, oh, what's the deal with it? A couple of the banks' numbers didn't even work. Finally, I get a bank that says, oh, yeah, we denied you. I was like, oh, really? So that's when I started kicking them the laws and everything. And I had a 750 credit score. So, people say that credit doesn't matter. The laws matter. I got denied with the 750. And I said I wanted zero down. So I kept moving up, signing them pursuant to 15 USC 1611, all that they're giving me false and inaccurate information willingly and knowingly because it's public information. If it's public information, that means you should know it. There's no excuse to break that law. So finally got to the underwriter. Oh, no. Before I got to the underwriter, I got to the actual finance manager of that bank. And he's the one who specifically said, yeah, I denied you. I denied you because he said I had too much debt, that I had a house recently and I had another car that I had financed. So I told him that I understood that was just a factor, but it's not a deciding factor. I told him the same laws again, that was false and misleading. He can't deny me an extension of my own credit. So he was saying he's not an attorney, and we're going back and forth with all that. I'm arguing with him. So we get off the phone, He said he's going to pass it on to his attorney. I said, good, pass it to your attorney. I'm feeling myself at that point because if I was able to move up the food chain, I was doing something right. So I said, good, pass it to your attorney. And then about an hour later, I get a call from the underwriter of the whole bank. And I didn't answer because I was busy doing something. And she left me a voicemail. And the voicemail says like, oh, hey, this is her name. And with this bank, I'm the underwriter. And we were able to approve that for you. You're right. You should have never been denied. We're so sorry, this and that. So I call him back and I was like, oh, so I got approved. Like, yeah. I was like, nothing down. So no, nothing down. I was like, all right, cool. So I'm going to go tomorrow. Then I'm going to get that Jeep. So when I show up the next day at the dealership, my saleswoman that helped me, she was there. But a lot of other people, they were all new. But they all knew who the hell I was when I walked in. Because they mentioned like everyone knew about the Jeep. Everyone so they're already looking at me. And every time I spoke, people would just shut up. The place was packed, but all the workers would shut up to listen to what I was saying because they knew that something was different about my transaction compared to everybody else's. And I kept mentioning, this is a consumer credit transaction. I'm here to extend my credit to you guys. I kept using phrases like that. So then they tried to ask me for 2 years tax returns and all this other crazy stuff because I was self-employed. But they said, oh yeah, you were approved under this condition. I was like, no, I was approved, period. The finance manager of the bank's a new one this time. And he's going back and forth with me saying like, we ain't going to give you special treatment just because you want it. I probably want to sell you this car more than you even want it, because he heard I was just pointing at cars and saying, yeah, I'm going to finance that one, finance this one. So I was like, you know what? I got the underwriter's number. I'm going to call her. I'll tell her how it's going to go and I'll let you know. So I called her. I kind of just I didn't have to use no laws once I got to the underwriter. I just used certain words that they used to let her know that I knew what I was talking about. So I use word like, oh, I understand it's just a factor in the decision, but I am approved and I'm going to play games. I'll play along, but I'm only going to give you my bank statements. I won't give you my tax returns. Mm-hmm. And she even said, oh, well, that is a requirement of ours, but I'll put on your profile that we'll take your bank statements. I was like, all right, cool. So then I go to the finance manager in there. He's already just tired of seeing me. He's just mad because in there, until I came in, he was the big dog in that business. Now I come in like, nah, you guys do what the hell I say. Like when you're the consumer, you have all the power. So I was like, hey man, so yeah, she's gonna accept that. So I'm gonna send those to you so you can send it to her. And I told her the same thing. I was like, cool, I'm gonna have the finance manager send that to you. And when he lets me know that he sent it to you, I'm gonna call you back so you can finalize my approval. And she just like, okay, like everything just a little weird. You could tell. They were like, damn, who is this guy? And I went over there in basketball shorts, similar, like just, regular t-shirt. I didn't look like I had the money or had the credit to even do what I did. But all that mattered was the law that I knew. That's all that mattered. Because even my 750 credit score didn't get me this. It was once I kicked them with the laws, they gave me what I came for. So then, they called me back. Like, I left and because everything was taking a long time. And then they called me back and like, hey, that lady did what you said she was going to do. Do you want to come get it right now? Or do you want to come tomorrow? So we could have it detailed for you, because our team already left because the finance manager was taking his sweet ass time with everything, because that was the only power he had left, was to make me wait. So that's what he would do, was make me wait. So I was like, nah, you know what? I'm going to take it today. And since I'm not getting the detail, I want you guys to fill up my tank. And then she's like, oh, we usually don't do that. So I said, well, tell your manager that I said in lieu of the detail, I want my tank filled up. So she's like, okay. And I went back. The manager, not the finance manager, the general manager came up to me, shook my hand. He's like, man, if I ever need anything, wait, I'm going to come talk to you. Because I don't even know how you did what you just did, but I filled that whole tank up for you, man. I filled that up for you. Thank you, this and that. And I was telling them like, yeah, you know what? Like in this situation, I have all the power right now. But when you're in my situation, you have all the power. So that was it. I was excited about it. I didn't know it was as big of a deal as it became, because to me, I just kept thinking, well, this is how it's supposed to go. That's the law. So that's how it should be. But once I started telling people my story, I started getting crazy reactions. It's my name started spreading through groups, and I hear people talking about me that I'm not even in those circles. They want to meet with me. And I was like, okay, well, I actually did something crazy, I guess. And what people think is impossible. Even I pulled up on my friends that know I've been learning this. And they all were like, no way, how'd you do it? I was like, well, I did it like this. I told them this, I told them that. And like, oh, damn. And so every time, like, hey, you still haven't paid? I was, nah, I still haven't paid. I had this shit since June. What is it now? It's October. I still haven't paid. Like, so they sent me a bill for July. I obviously didn't pay it. Then they moved it back to August, and I was still never late. They just keep pushing it back as if I'm never late because they know something was different with that transaction. They don't want to really get hit with those laws that I'm gonna hit them with.
So, I guess for those watching, you basically got the car for free. Like there was no money involved in this transaction at all.
Just credit, just the way it should be. As I say, when I got it on credit, I truly got it on credit. Like that's what I be telling people. But yeah, it's a long story, I know, but there's a lot. You know, it's like I said, it took 2 days, so I don't want anybody to think that it was easy. And people, a lot of the time, they think just because you know these laws, everything must be easier. It's like, nah, man, I'm talking to people who look at me crazy, and I gotta walk them down this path. And then when I finally get something like this reward, they don't know that I was studying for about 3 months straight, day in, day out, buying books that's cost me about over $1,000, buying a ticket to an event that cost me almost $1,000, and for a whole weekend, spend my whole weekend in LA, driving from I'm in Apple Valley, so it's about 2 hours away. Driving from there to LA for 2 days straight, taking notes like crazy, and still before I finally went. They just always see the end result and think it came easy, but no, like there's a lot that goes into it.
And that's the thing, like that's one of the things that the Bureau of Bullies teaches all the time. You have to study like all the time, at least a couple times a week, read the laws, engage with somebody that has dealt with situations with the laws, because that's how you get sharp with them.
Yep, exactly. They always say, like they say, do it for self. You have to do it for yourself. You can't have somebody do it for you. And Ozma too, I went to her event, the Money Bag Tour. That just gave me even more clarity. So I just been studying. That's where I got this right here. I love all of her shirts because they just let you know, like, man, I ain't here to play. Like, yeah.
That's what's up. So do you have any tips or anything that you might want to share with people that are just starting to learn the laws?
I would say stick with it. You're not gonna get it the first time, maybe not even the 10th time, but that's okay. Like you weren't supposed to. The national reading level is 7th to 8th grade, and we weren't even taught a lot of these definitions. And that's what I do on my Instagram too. I'll show like the definition that Google gives you for credit, and then what the Congress, which is federal law, gives you for credit. And you can see, like, man, we've been taught a lie. So not only did they have a low reading level as a national, they also did not. Oh, I'm sorry, people trying to call me all that. Let's see. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Saying they also purposely didn't teach us the correct things. Nobody was taught me the Truth in Lending Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Those are just a few of them. But none of us were taught that, you know? So, oh my God. I just keep getting blown up. I'm sorry. So yeah, you're not going to get it right away. But like I said, that's okay. You can get frustrated with yourself. Just put the book down or put down whatever it is you're reading and trying to study. Step away for a little bit and come back to it. But don't stop. Don't give up.